Hello, everybody. Welcome into another video by yours truly, Dom, Huddy, and Kyle. Clover Trading. Welcome to the Clover Trading channel. Make sure, as always, if you have not hit the subscribe button, we are getting after it. We're posting multiple videos every week. We're live every day the market is open. Why would you not want to be a part of that? So come join our YouTube community. Today's video, a little bit different than our going into Friday video, where we kind of recap the week at hand, talk about some of the biggest trades we had, some of the biggest blunders we took. This video is for the weekend, going into a brand new week. What is on watch still from the past week, maybe 2 weeks of action, and kind of walking you through what our watches is going to look like going into Monday. So I welcome in Huddy, welcome in Kyle. We're going to get you the top watches going into the next week, maybe some life lessons as well, and then we'll get it on out of here.
Alrighty. I guess I'll start us off. Yeah, so not a whole lot of immediate plays, but a lot of things I just want to keep an eye on going into next week. That I again, if you're in the Clover room, we have like what we call it is an ongoing joke called a third eye watch list of just tickers that aren't necessarily in play, but we want to keep an eye on the charts just to stay familiar, right? These tickers could pop up at any given moment, any given time. They're just not there right now. And so without further ado, most of my watch list is gonna be that. So again, we in the midweek recap, we talked about my NVAX trade. I did cover that, and it is still fading. So there is a world where if I want to scalp it every now and then, I actually tried and thought about scalping it on Friday here, but I just didn't. It didn't seem to offer any good risk reward that I like. But again, going into future days and weeks, if we keep having this red bleed action, I have no problem joining trend on any one given day and seeing if I can squeeze some water out of the rock that I already have. So not really a high odds thing for me by any means, but just keep it on watch here. Another one that I was actually hoping up would hold up, but it has faded. CDT, I thought and was hoping for a second day run. On Friday here, we have kind of gone red and actually sub one for a little bit. So I'll keep it on watch. Again, if it can run higher, the better. If it fades off, probably do nothing with it. But it is, at least somewhat of a multi-runner or a day and a half runner that we had at least to close out the week. So we'll keep an eye on there. Mullen. MULN, they did do their reverse split, and of course, in Mullen fashion, it opened down 50 or 40%. I was swinging it for quite a bit of the ways from, up here in the 50s and 60s. I covered it like 6 cents. I am always interested in getting a reshort, but I just can't chase this thing down so much so soon. I need a spike. I need a gap up. I need some kind of move like we've had in the past here to show that this company actually cares and is keeping them alive, and just chasing it down after dropping 50% over reverse split is not the safest position I like to feel and be in. So again, third eye watch, just keeping it on the radar, see if they can ever get a spike or a gap or a multi-day move in its arsenal, because we know they can. And then only other main, again, watch, and I've mentioned this pretty much once a week for the last few weeks for Clovers. Fannie Mae, again, not doing much, don't have to do anything with it, but we are just staying steady Eddie in between this $8 and $5 channel for now, what is it? Almost 3 to 4 months now. So at some point, this is going somewhere, and I just want to stay aware of it. And that's all I've got for the watches.
Awesome. Yeah, going to the new week, I have not a very lot amount of stocks to keep an eye on. The way I like to make watch lists, I don't really do a whole lot of scanning. I use the room, I use the recent runners to make my list. And right now we're just kind of out of recent runners. We haven't had, we've had what feels like for the past few weeks, MLGO, we've had AREB, ICCT, a bunch of recent runners that have been in play. If Kyle wants to pull some of them up, you can kind of see they've kind of gone through their cycles. They've come back down to reality. And we're kind of looking for that next phase of the life cycle for them, which is just to fade off in whichever way they please. But as the volume drifts and the range disappears, and as we distance ourselves from the highs, that is when I stop watching these stocks and begin to await the next phase, which is we need stocks to run. And stuff like PRTG right now is kind of entering that phase where there's nothing I want to do with the stock right now. It's up, from 5 into the 12s, running very chaotically, very quick mover on a Friday. So the way I like to trade, waiting for the framework, waiting for the life cycle to take place, I will just throw this on a watch. Exactly what Kyle mentioned. I'll put it on a third eye list. There's nothing for me to do with it today. Um, but going forward, this is the type of thing that turns into something down the line. Maybe it tops out at 13 or 14. We have a double top into that resistance or triple top. And then maybe I'm buying a breakout on it on Tuesday or Wednesday in the form of a multi-day breakout through bigger levels of resistance behind it. Maybe it just breaks out of those levels today, goes 14, 15, 16. We gap up on Monday into 20, and it's an overextended gap up type of short. But this is the type of thing where I won't do anything with it today, but it will go on a watch for a potential future trade if it does come into my wheelhouse. Some of the other recent runners from this week that I'm still keeping an eye on for plays is JNVR. This is one that has, very similar to PRTG, came onto the radar through the form of a gap, a big run, consolidated, ended up breaking out yesterday. Today, we're holding the breakout level, but really just staying inside of yesterday's range, towards the top end of that range. Maybe this will be a play going into Monday, um, where we have kind of a double top new breakout level of that 62 area. It's not perfect. I know we broke it by a little today, but when you're talking about a stock that has $1 to $2 of spread, I'm looking at that as a double top. So maybe it continues to make higher lows. Maybe today is a rest day. Shorts, from yesterday, from Thursday that didn't give up, swung it overnight, are still kind of HODLing, hodling a bit, holding their nuts, hoping that this thing breaks down. If it doesn't, we have potential new shorts from today as well on kind of in a liquid stock that are just holding it up. And if it doesn't fade off, I will definitely be watching this for another leg. Each time we break out of these higher price ranges, I start to think that the next move can be that much bigger, but need that one to develop as well. SXTP will be on watch for potential multi-day breakout if volume comes back into that one. We have a high set in the low fours or mid fours on a big run. We continue to make higher lows. The volume is still quite low, so need to probably be around $4, churning pretty good size volume. For me, breakouts don't necessarily always have to be like bigger volume than on the day they set the breakout level, but it needs to be tradable. Today we saw a pop. But we don't see any continuation because there's not a whole lot of interest there. So the longer it holds up, maybe it sets a new trigger level around that 380, 390 area, and we curl into that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. That would be intriguing if the volume can increase. But again, this is kind of what we're left with when we don't have a whole lot of runners, is I just try to keep an eye on everything that is potentially there. So that way, if we do get a random breakout at SXTP and it's doing 50, 100 mil, I don't miss it. So those are the stocks that I'm watching right now, really at the phase where I'm just waiting for new runners. Because if I want first screen days and reversals, if I want breakouts, if I want first red days, we got to have that initial start kickoff mode where we get the big runners that are running 100, 200, 300%. So until then, I sit on my hands. I wait. I'm aware of all the stocks that are in play right now. But if that list is short, then I, focus on other things, focus on studying, focus on the educational side of things. And just waiting for the next good quality setup.
Beautiful.
Nice. For me, it's like kind of exactly what Dom just said. There hasn't been a lot of big percent gainers this week that have held up and, kind of produced multi-day runs. So my watch list is quite barren. Of course, I will be watching whatever's gapping up come Monday. That's always kind of like my first priority. And then I kind of look at multi-day runners and see if we have any setups there. And since arguably most things have failed this week and nothing's gone on a multi-day run, I know exactly where my focus needs to be. I know exactly where I need to be Monday morning, and that probably won't change from now till then.
Beautiful. I agree. All righty. Well, that's pretty much it. Quick one for us today. Again, with the overall market still in their turbulent times, typically that doesn't offer a lot of sustainability from the multi-day run side of small caps. So that's why kind of what Heidi just said, alluded to at the end there. Not many, like I said, and kind of what I said in the beginning, not many super, super high end plays, but again, a lot of tickers we are just keeping our pulse on. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked the watch list going into the week. We'll see how these tickers play out. I'm sure we'll get more tickers as the new week goes on, of course, as it always does. So yeah, feel free to comment on any tickers you're watching if you appreciated or liked this style of video for a watch list coming on, Sunday nights in the future. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. And we will see you guys Monday morning for Good Morning NASDAQ, 8:45 Eastern. And we'll talk more all about it then.